Gillespie, bottom at the three, didn't take it. A long three from Holyfield goes. Nothing but net for Grace Holyfield.
Gainesville one-on-one, drives inside, tomahawks it down. There's the exclamation mark.
Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Welcome to Access Sports Live here on Twitter and on our website, accesswdu.com. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff Hart we're social distancing again today, which we've been told to, so we're abiding by the rules, Jeff. We are a distance away from each other.
Is 25 miles, is that far enough, or do we need to get further?
I think that's plenty of room. So, yeah, it's part of what we're.
Yeah, nobody can accuse us of not.
Nobody can accuse us of not social distancing because we are social distancing, and we're trying to make the best of the situation without any games to cover. So what we've done, Jeff, is we have taken this opportunity to put together kind of an Access Sports Live video, which we're going to share on Twitter and on our website, so you can watch it and catch up with what the athletic administrators, some of the coaches around the area are doing in this time of massive boredom, Jeff.
Boredom is the key word. I mean, I think we're all bored, Bo. I mean, now, I'm enjoying spending time with my wife, and we've gone and seen our kids once, while we've had a chance. But I don't know. I'd rather be. I mean, even you probably would be willing to watch a tennis match.
Yes,
at this
I would.
Point,
I would.
I figured you would.
I can tell you this much. I was sitting right here. I was sitting in this chair last night, and I heard the tomahawk chop. And it was the replay of a Braves game that Elizabeth had on in the living room, and I'm hearing it, and you know me and baseball, and it was like music to my ears hearing the tomahawk chop.
See, I knew we would make a fan. This was all orchestrated to make you a baseball fan.
Conspiracy theory out there. No, yes, whatever we could get live sports, I would watch at this moment. I don't care what it is. Don't care.
Cricket?
Yeah, sure. Bring it on. As long as it's live.
Curling.
Bring it on. Let's do it. Let's watch it. Yeah,
Tiddlywinks.
Whatever.
Tiddlywinks.
So, but
right.
We did get
expanding that sport.
That's right.
Yet again at AccessWD.
There you go. So Adam Lindsey, Gainesville Athletics Director, was gracious enough to join us twice today. Our first go around, working the kinks out here with this video. So that's one of the things we're trying to get worked out, and hopefully, before it's all said and done, we'll have it worked out. But let's get to it with Coach Adam Lindsey from Gainesville High School, Athletics Director. A lot of interesting things he had to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly there's nothing athletically going on right now. March and April are months when you look at the calendar, you've got a lot of dots, for your away and home games that have to be covered and attended to. And all of a sudden, when you wipe the slate clean and don't have any of those, fortunately, you get a lot of family time right now, which is always, long overdue for everybody, me, the coaches, the kids, but certainly, as far as the day job is concerned, there's a little bit of boredom going on. Certainly with no athletics going on, it makes it difficult to find a lot to do. But with the school system doing the handing out lunches, we've been involved in that heavily, and making sure all of our kids get something to eat. So other than that, though, it has been slow.
So there's nothing in the manual about something like this to help y'all stave off the boredom.
I keep going looking for where coronavirus is in the handbook, and it's not there. It's not there.
Well,
But it will be after this year.
Yeah, I was
going to
say
that much.
it may still be there 2 weeks later. You never know.
Yeah.
all right.
But it's this is a crazy situation.
Well, Coach,
No doubt.
You know, the Georgia High School Association today, along with Governor Brian Kemp, they've extended the school suspension into April 24th, I think. So April 22nd would be the earliest kids could go back to school. What are your thoughts on that? I know it was probably kind of expected, as it was for Jeff and I. We expected this to happen, but obviously with soccer and baseball season set to end on like April 16th and 18th, I mean, pretty much the season's wiped out.
Yeah, the regular season is definitely, we're looking at it today, and soccer is one game short of playing everybody in the region. Baseball has not played anybody in the region, so those sports are put in a little bit of a different predicament. Golf, they can still go to the area tournament. Tennis would be fine; they've played everybody. But some of the sports would be okay trying to come back on the after the 24th and try to finish. But those soccer still got to play one more match before they could determine who could go to the playoffs. And but baseball's got a lot of work to do. I did get a couple of phone calls this afternoon talking about possible scenarios that if we were to actually go back to school after that we would be looking at some kind of regions would be asked to determine a top two, and then from there have a modified playoff to get there. But my biggest concern comes with really with baseball. At that point we'll have told these kids, stay in your house for 6 weeks, don't go outside, don't do anything. But then, hey, on the 26th or 27th, whatever is, come back and you're gonna have to go pitch a game. I think that puts a lot of baseball players in a bad place injury wise, and that becomes my number one concern is not putting in a kid in a place where they could get hurt, because those kids are going to tell you I'm ready to go. Those kids are going to tell you I want to play, and I get it. They're those seniors, it's their last opportunity to get out there, but it could be bad, and that's just my biggest concern right now.
Well, I think that was something we all thought about, initially when they did this was baseball. Even if it was only a week or two, you're talking about shutting guys down. It's hard to come back. You got to get arms in shape and everything. But you mentioned something that, this doesn't necessarily apply to 8-6A that Gainesville's in, but certainly does. Let's take 8-5A, which has Buford and Johnson. Those baseball, they had not played one single region game. So how are they supposed to? I thought 8-6A had started one round, not one round.
No, we have not played a region game.
So how are you supposed to pick two teams when nobody's played a region game?
The overwhelming talk is to do kind of like a weekend college World Series type style, tournament to determine who those top two would be, and part of me too looks at it and says. That's great if you're the top two, but for everybody else, you've come back and you've put yourself in this potential area of getting injured for 1 week.
Right.
So I just get real concerned. I know that's not going to be a popular view, with our baseball. Well, with our baseball kids and our baseball parents, certainly those seniors, they're going to want to play no matter what. And I completely get it. And I want that for them too. But I also don't want to have any major injuries coming out of coming back too quickly. I mean, typically baseballs, they're starting their throwing series, in December to get ready for February games.
Right.
So, I know hopefully, our kids are doing something, at home, throwing a ball around to keep their arms, strength, strong. And, but it only takes one kid to get hurt and where the situation just turns real bad and regretful.
Well, Coach, what about your kids? Your daughter plays volleyball, right?
My daughter does whatever, whatever sport's available at the time. She plays volleyball. She plays on our middle school soccer team. She's a goalie for the soccer team. And she is our social butterfly. She's the one that is struggling with being at home right now. For the first week, we only told her it was going to be 1 week, and then my son let it slip. My son let it slip that it was going to be longer than a week, and so she is not happy. She loves being able to go to school and be with her teachers and her friends and around her teammates. So. But my son, he's totally fine. He'll sit back there. He loves digital learning, thinks this is like the newest, greatest thing ever, and is totally fine.
Well, I know my daughter, her softball coach sends her, with homework to do. So she has to do a video, send it in to prove that she's been working out. Is your daughter having to do any of that with any of her teams?
Certainly. My daughter's club volleyball team, they have a lot of, very high expectations for what they're doing. So they send them workouts every day, and she's got to get a minimum number of touches. And, she gets her own kind of mini practice. Of course, she was doing all that stuff already anyway. So, but yeah, she's definitely wanting to stay in tune. She's with her club season. They've already missed a tournament. They've got another one that's supposed to come up in another week that they're going to end up missing. So, it's interesting when you really start thinking about the effect of how shutting this thing down has gone. When you look at, just from what my knowledge is, where club volleyball is, you've got people, this is their whole life, is doing club sports like this. So when it's shut down in the middle of their season, they've got no income coming in right now because they're not able to do lessons and run practices and tournaments and all that kind of stuff. That's it's really affecting some of those people pretty bad.
Well, Coach, this is going to end. I personally don't know that we're going to come back to school. I just don't see school coming back. I think there's particularly the sports issues when you think about all the things you just mentioned, and the online thing seems to be going pretty well academically. People I think are just they're going to decide to just pull the plug on doing any kind of thing. But how is this going to affect when we get closer and into the summer? Is there any talk that we may have to push other things down the road? Spring football is supposed to start. Some people have spring games, some don't. There's an extra 10 days. That's why people do it. Those may be lost. What do you hear for the summer and getting ready for the fall?
Well, haven't really heard a lot of talk about the summer or the fall, and I'm glad to not be talking about that. That very much concerns me. Spring practice, with a date of coming back, potentially after the 24th, that still leaves spring practice in play. And right now we've got a game scheduled with Discovery, at the end of our 10 days, and if we already had the conversations with them that if that doesn't work out and we're not able to get back to school, then we'll just, like everybody, like those that have chosen not to do a spring practice, we'll move to two scrimmages in the fall. But that, I'm kind of with you. I really am not very confident that we'll come back to school. But also no, I don't expect them to have like a date, this date, and then everything can completely go back to normal. I would anticipate some kind of phasing in of, now we can get together in groups of 25 for a week, and then now we can get to group in 50 before we get back to we can do whatever we want. I don't see it going back just like as of tomorrow, everything's back to normal and do whatever you want to. I don't see that. So that kind of concerns me for this summer. I get concerned that there will be guidelines as to what size groups that we can gather in. We've kind of had a lot of plans at Gainesville about doing some all athletic department, culture-based programs of where we're all working out and doing some things together, which concerns me that we may not be able to do some of those kind of things because of restrictions that may be put on us. But again, no real talk of anything along those lines. That's just, and I don't want to hear any talk of it. But we'll see.
Well, let's talk about football for a moment because as we've talked about it a few times, and you mentioned that April 24th would, if school does come back, that would be the start of spring practice. If it doesn't happen, you're going to add probably an extra scrimmage in the fall. So when you're looking at those scrimmages in the fall, it just another scrimmage, but all that time lost with no workout, what are the kids or the athletes doing at this moment that you know of, if any, to continue that workout regimen that Coach Webb had in place?
Well, certainly our strength coach has put out a daily workout regimen that he's asking the kids to do of all things that are body weight and, things they can do at home without, exposing themselves to anything that they don't need to. But also it's kind of gone to a point to where our coaches have been able to, be a little innovative, which is, may come to be one of the blessings in disguise out of all this. Our coaches have created a Google Classroom for all of our football players where they're actually, teaching schemes and plays, and recording them and putting them out there for the kids to be able to study. They're doing different concepts and teaching different things every day. Because our football team, for a while now has been different position groups coming in the mornings to have those kind of meetings and teach those kind of preseason stuff before you get to spring practice kind of concepts. So they've certainly been able to take advantage of this opportunity and to be able to provide those kids those opportunities to not get behind in case we do get the opportunity to come back and be able to run spring practice.
It sounds like the coaches are trying to come up with some new age teaching techniques, and maybe that's, if I don't see a lot of positives going on just because of all the things that aren't happening, but that seems something that maybe is a positive spin on this, that, it's making people maybe think outside of the box, and how can you
Absolutely.
teach certain things when you can't have that one-on-one interaction?
Absolutely. I mean, being educators, we know every kid learns a little differently. So having the opportunity for even if, this is a good thing no matter what, for them to start this process, because even if you have a kid where you've gone through practice and the kid, like messes something up or can't remember something. Well, if we have that on that Google Classroom, that kid can go home and spend some time reviewing that. And maybe that kid learns a little, and that's a better way for that kid to learn. So, maybe, walking through it at practice, he isn't getting it, but if he gets to go home and spend some time reviewing it on his own, looking at the coach teaching it on the board or whatever, and that helps him out, then it all works out in the long run, one way or the other. So, our coaches have, and I'm proud of them for not wanting to just sit at home and do nothing, and trying to find ways to think outside the box and make sure our kids are getting what we need to get at this time of year. The off season is so important for every sport to make sure that we're prepared to be successful during the year, and our coaches are trying to take advantage of that right now.
Well, initially I was worried that I had like Rocky IV in mind, where he's, out there in the Russian wilderness, cutting trees down and trying to do stuff, as far as the weight training thing, because not everybody may not have the kind of equipment that you need for weight training. So,
Absolutely.
I don't know that, I wonder if we would be trying to think of things like this if something like this hadn't happened. So, if there's some new techniques come out of it, it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, certainly, no doubt. I mean, obviously, the dealing with the virus is a terrible thing, and we would love to have our kids in front of us every day and making sure that they're getting, not only the weight room, but the nutrition that we provide for them to help them be as successful as they can in the fall. But, this will be a little bit of a bright light that comes out of this, that I have no doubt that, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not the first ones to do this. But it certainly, I think, will, as we move forward, be something that becomes a staple of every program, being able to have more of what they do online, to be able to, share with that freshman that comes in, to be able to share with him, this is what we do, and you can go home and spend an hour watching it on TV, on your iPad or on your phone, to help you prepare, and so it's just another way to do things that I think, as we get more digital and more mobile, this is just part of it.
Well, Coach, do you see a lot of these team camps that may be scheduled out in June? Do you see those happening?
It's a great question. I think as we get closer to some of those things, we'll have to see. I'm finding, more and more is getting, pushed out of April and into May, and you hope that those things, when you start talking about June and July, you hope we're not even talking about this then, that we're all back to normal. And I certainly think that, if we can make it out of April and into May, with this whole thing, kind of declining, that we'll be fine, and I would certainly hope that as we go to start looking at our summer, that we can kind of get back to as normal as possible. But unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait and see. We all like to, my wife asks me every day, I just wish I knew what the plan was and what we were going to be able to do. And I'm sorry, I'm not the one to answer that question.
So, all right. So you are, I'm not going to say you're quarantined, but you're staying out of the way of the public. You're social distancing, correct?
Doing the best I can.
What's your favorite part about social distancing?
That's a loaded question. I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily can say that there's a favorite part of it, because I enjoy being around people and talking. And I've been doing Zoom meetings with coaches and teachers every day, just to kind of keep working on those relationships and just being able to see people and talk to people. And so I can't imagine what it would be like these days if we were going through this and didn't have all this technology to make things easier. So when it boils down to it, I said it before, I miss the coaches and the kids, and I know our coaches are dying. Everybody needs a break, but everybody's ready to get back to it too. Everybody wants to get back to the court and the weight room and the field and get back with the kids. We're all missing. We got into this because we love working with kids, and this is obviously a situation where we're not allowed to do that at all. So we're ready to get back to it.
I wonder if in the future, instead of high fives and jumping chest bumps, we're going to see the elbow, the elbow greeting, or the little foot thing that they were coming up with in China. And it's a whole new world out there for what I think is about to happen.
The elbow thing irritates the death out of me. I would rather give everybody a high five, and the person at the end has a little squirt bottle or something. I just, every time I see somebody do that, I just shake my head, and
What's your go-to hand sanitizer, Coach?
Whatever my wife hands me. as every time I walk in the door now, it's go wash your hands.
Yeah. So,
and I'm starting to become a connoisseur of the different soap smells. I particularly have enjoyed coconut. I don't eat coconut, but I like the smell of it in
that's
soap.
Interesting.
So it's making me want to go get some coconut.
Being your flavor.
I can see that being your flavor too, Jeff.
What? All right, explain that to me. I got to hear this one. Or do I want to? I don't know.
No, we don't know. We're not going to. No explanation needed. What's your go-to takeout?
Gosh, Gainesville's a great place for takeout. My wife and I love Atlas. Atlas Pizza. It's absolutely the best pizza around anywhere. So we hit them up a lot. We've been hitting the Gyro Grill with some chicken souvlaki. That's really good. They got really good hummus. But we definitely hit Atlas more than we should.
A trivia thing on Atlas, the guy Vic that owns it, when I ran Domino's way back in the 90s, he worked for me. So then he goes and opens up the best pizza place in town.
Okay, so we mentioned pizza, now we need to mention tennis. Go, Jeff.
We can talk tennis. What do you want to know?
Both our tennis teams were in line to win region titles this year. That's part of the stressful thing right now is we have both tennis teams and we're ready to win region titles, and our girls soccer team, who's 11-1 with one loss to number 4 in the state. I know Coach Howard has done an amazing job turning around that program in the last 2 years. So if anything, I hate it. I hate everything that's going on for those girls. They've worked so hard and put themselves in such a good place.
They were one of several area teams. The boys golf was looking pretty good.
Correct.
Johnson boys soccer ranked number 1 in the nation. Buford baseball, Flowery Brand. I mean, we had some really strong spring sports really starting to hop.
And the biggest loss may be not having the Johnson Gainesville soccer game.
I was looking forward to that.
largest soccer game I've ever been to in my life. They kept telling me, like, this is as big as a Friday night. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. And then the first time we hosted at home, I was like, oh, my God, I didn't have enough security officers. I need to call somebody. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, I think the soccer, what I found out is the soccer tradition, the fans want to be on the same side. So when they were at City Park, I really thought they should have opened up the other side. Y'all could have filled that and ringed the field. Maybe that's something to look at in the future.
Yeah, it's a soccer thing for everybody to be on the same side. So it may be something we have to look at as that game continues to grow. But I think we'll be okay.
Well, Coach, man, we appreciate you joining us for a second time today, time number 2.
Absolutely. I always enjoy y'all asking me to be on. I never thought it would be twice in one day. But, hey, whatever y'all need.
Thank you. Thank you for being, at our beck and call, Coach.
Yeah. My wife doesn't like to be near me twice in a day. So, yeah, I really appreciate that.
So I'm not going there.
I'm leaving that one alone.
I'm not even going to touch that one. All right, Coach, man, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
Coach Adam Lindsey of Gainesville joining us, the AD, joining us today for round number 2 here on Access Sports Live. Check us out on Twitter. That is at WDUN Sports. Also Facebook and Instagram. Keyword search Access WDUN Sports. For Adam, for Jeff, I'm Bo. Have a great rest of your week, everyone.